When I was in Saudi, I went to an American school for several years, up until 5th grade, and then I went to boarding school in the UK before going to university as well in the UK. And I've traveled all around this world. At this stage, I've been to about 40 different countries, and I've had a lot of opportunities, met hundreds of thousands of people through my work, and had so many opportunities to travel the world and really see what it has to offer and to see how different people live. And I want to tell you, after being to all of these 40 different countries, the United States of America is such an incredible country. Truly, truly, the USA is an incredible country. And I truly believe, as someone who loves this country but is not from here, I think that one of the greatest threats to the United States is the fact that I think a lot of Americans don't understand just how good they have it and just how special and unique this country is. Now, if you think about the history of the world and you think about the history of different countries within it, prior to the United States of America, pretty much every country was founded on what is essentially some form of dictatorship. Monarchies and straight up dictators, kings, queens, just having a single person or a very tiny number of people who just rule over everything. This is the first country in the world that was founded off of the idea of liberty and the idea of freedom. And that's incredibly powerful. Now, as we know, the United States has not had a perfect and clean journey over the 250 or so years of its existence as we know it. There have been a lot of ups and downs. It's taken a long time for the promises that are made out in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights to actually be adhered to for the entire population, and for those promises to truly be fulfilled. And I think that there are many different angles that people can take and look at the story of the USA, as well as other countries, but I think with the USA in particular. There's a lot of tension and dark stuff in its history. Of course, we talk about slavery, violence, discrimination, segregation. Everybody knows the story of this nation. A lot of it is not totally unique to the USA. Many of these human sins and institutions existed all around the world. But when I look at the story of the United States, and when I look at the story of Black Americans, I see a story of triumph. I see a story of not just the darkness that existed, but the darkness that was overcome through the words and actions of so many millions of brilliant people. You have to remember that I think a lot of people consider the sins of the United States, if you want to call them that, to be something that is very unique and very specific to this country, without the acknowledgement of the fact that all across the world, an institution such as slavery was the global norm for thousands and thousands of years. It's kind of mind-blowing how long it took human beings to realize that that's such a terrible and awful and demeaning and wrong institution. So it's not something that was unique to this country, but I think that what is unique, some of the things that are unique to this country, is this ongoing fight for liberty, for freedom, for human rights, for decency, and truly trying to reach a stage of offering everybody equal opportunities, offering everybody equal rights, and offering everybody equal decency. Now, it's very popular and trendy these days to diss the United States of America. It's very trendy to pretend that we're not living in 2023 and that we're living in 1923, and to be putting people against each other all of the time. White against black, men against women, straight against gay, left against right, red against blue, whatever it is, right? Just this ongoing picking at scabs, blaming people for things that they have not done. holding people accountable for sins that they have not committed, grasping onto victimhood that people themselves have not actually individually experienced. And I don't think that this is healthy. I don't think that it's healthy. One thing about the past is that it's immutable. You cannot change the past. If you're driving in your car and you're constantly staring in the rearview mirror, constantly staring in the side mirror, trying to see everything that's behind you, you're going to crash your car. If you're constantly focused on everything that happened in the past, even things that you yourself have not experienced, and just taking all of the negative and dwelling in that all of the time, then what it does is it breeds resentment. It breeds contempt. It makes you paranoid about the people around you. It makes you think that your fellow Americans, your fellow human beings are your enemies, when they are not. It's not a healthy mentality. What you do have power over is the present. You have power over your words. You have power over your actions. You have power over how you choose to respond to things. And I talk a lot about mindset because I think that mindset is absolutely everything. The world is a complicated place. There's both positive and there is negative in this world. There's no shortage of things both happening currently and absolutely things that have happened historically for people to feel angry about. There's so much dark, horrible, awful things that happen in the world. Natural disasters, illness, death, tragedy, things that human beings do to one another, and many times we don't understand why. On the flip side, however, there's so much goodness in this world, and there's so much goodness in this nation, and there's so much goodness within people. Kindness, generosity, love, friendship, opportunity. Life is such a blessing. And I think that there are so many things that we do not have control over. But something you do have control over is how you choose to frame these things, how you choose to view the world. Do you want to be someone who's caught up in bitterness and negativity and resentment and anger, blaming other people for all your problems? Or you can take an alternative path and you can choose to be more optimistic. And you can choose to acknowledge the past and learn from the past. I think that's something that's extremely important, right? It's not good to try to erase the past or act like these things never happened, but it's not good to dwell in it. You can take those lessons and you can be very appreciative of what you have now, and you can use that to progress for yourself, for your family, for your community, and ultimately for the country as a whole. And I think that is a much more positive view. I often look at things and I wonder, how is this thing helpful, right? If there's someone out there who is trying to make you feel some type of hatred or contempt or anger towards your fellow citizen based on their skin color, based on their political party, based on their religion, based on whatever it may be, then I don't think that the person they want you to view your enemy as your enemy is the enemy. I think the person who's trying to force that belief system on you does not have your best interest in mind. I'm extraordinarily distrustful of anybody who wants me to hate white people, anybody who wants me to hate women, anyone who wants me to hate this person or hate that person. How can you be coming from a place of love? And that is this message. When I'm just standing here, I'm just in this room, I'm talking to people. I'm talking to people. Yes, I can absolutely see what each individual in here looks like. But as I'm standing here talking to people, I'm like, man, I'm just talking to a good-looking crowd here. I'm not just talking to white people, I'm not just talking to black people, I'm talking to everybody. And everybody in this room has this seed of potential for greatness. And I think that another narrative that's so popular these days is this victimhood mentality. This idea that whoever you are, the world, the system, your neighbors, your fellow citizens, everybody is out to get you. It's not true. It's not true. No one is out to get you. And in this country, more than any other that I've traveled to, and I've traveled to a lot of them, there is no other nation in this world at this time that has the level of opportunity that the United States does. The amount of... Honestly, I say this coming from the UK. And quick geography lesson here. The United Kingdom is 4 countries. It's not just one country, it's 4 countries combined. England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Wales. Those 4 countries combined are smaller than the state of Texas. Just Texas is bigger than the entire UK. And you have 50 states, over 330 million people, the most diverse population in every sense of the word in the entire world. And there is just so much opportunity here. And I think that if people can appreciate that and have some gratitude for what is available here, then I think that this is really, I mean, the country has already risen in an incredible way, but I think if that understanding can be instilled in people, old, young, whoever you are, then I think this sort of anger and misdirected anger and this constant outrage and the sort of lack of appreciation for what people actually have available to them would very quickly dissipate.